Said told me just 15 minutes. I will try actually to go even faster, hoping that both my voice and my health will sustain me to the end of this presentation. Now, there are a lot of similarities between this CRP, the CGIAR research program on dryland cereals, and the one we just heard about, the CGIAR research program on grain legumes. In terms of the process, for example, the management and the governance. So I will not, in a way, I have to thank the previous speaker because I don't have to go through all that information as well. Also, this CRP has been finally approved in its 5th version, submitted by mid-August and approved between the end of August, beginning of September. Now, the CGIAR research program on dryland cereals is a global alliance for improving food security, nutrition, and economic growth for the world's most vulnerable poor. I just put these slides to remind us what is the spanning actually of all the different, it's still 15 in this slide, but these are the real research programs. They are going from improving productivity of and profit for crop, fish, and livestock, and that's where this CGIAR research program on dryland cereals belongs to. Of course, across the all 15 CRPs, we have a number of overarching themes, some of which we have already heard this morning, like gender, but we also talk about capacity strengthening, and I would say most important is even partnership and stakeholder engagement. Now, why a CRP on dryland cereals? We have been asked several times during the development of this proposal to justify why do we want to have a unified program on dryland cereals. And sometimes we were more successful than others in justifying the existence of this CRP, and eventually the CRP was approved. So there are more than 1 billion of the Earth's poorest inhabitants live in ash dryland environments, and dryland cereals are very often the only possible crops. About 70 to 80% of the grain that is produced is consumed by the poor as food, and remainder is used as feed and other non-food uses. And that's something I will come back during my presentation. Would like always to point to the importance of these crops as multi-purpose crop. It's not only one use of the crop. Then what is the program expected to deliver in terms of impact in the next 10 years? A sustainable 16% increase in dryland cereal farm level production on at least 11.8 million hectares in Africa and Asia, and to deliver improved technologies that are made available to 5.8 million smallholder households, equal to about 34 million total beneficiaries in the target region. In terms of crops, well, perhaps I should have said at the beginning, but I can introduce it now. ICRISAT is the lead center, and there is another CGIAR center that is a partner in the CRP, and that is ICARDA. And the focus on crops is on barley, that is in the hands of ICARDA, while for ICRISAT we are in with finger millet, pear millet, and sorghum. There was a lot of discussion during the development of the CRP and getting actually to the final approval in what were the major targeted production areas. So we look at level of poverty, hunger and malnutrition, We look also at the geographical priority that were indicated in the CGIAR strategy and result framework, and these were mainly looking at South Asia, West and Central Africa, East and Southern Asia. So we had focused on selected regions and selected countries. And here are the region and the countries where the CRP will work within those regions. In parentheses is the area covered by those respective crops. Of course, there were also other considerations taken into account, mainly looking at regional trends, whether the crop was on uprising or perhaps was going to be not so successful in the future, looking at constraints. And what came out very important was, for example, the lack of seeded information was perceived as an important constraint. And also we look at the range of smallholder farmers from subsistence to market-oriented, looking at the whole continuum of different farmers. So the program is organized in 7 product lines. Product line number 5 is is responsibility of ICARDA, while ICRISAT is in all these other product lines. So we are looking at sorghum for Africa and Asia. And here we have 3 product lines. One is supporting farmers' transition from subsistence to market-oriented with productive, nutritious, photoperiod-sensitive sorghum production packages for multiple uses in West Africa. Then we have a product line looking at drought-tolerant, highly productive, again, multi-use sorghum varieties for food and processing uses in the dry lowlands of East Africa. And a multi-purpose post-rainy season sorghum hybrid production technology for improving food and fodder availability in the driest region of South Asia. So again, multi-purpose. We are not looking only at grain for food, but also at other important uses. Then we have a group of product lines, other 3, that look at millets again for Africa and Asia. One is on improving food security for subsistence smallholder farmers in East and West Africa with productive and nutrition per millet food and fodder production technology. Then we have a product line that looks at finger millet production technology for Eastern and Southern Africa, and a production line and a product line on a multi-purpose per millet hybrid production technology for East Africa and South Asia. Now, this is what we are going to do. The product line that are by region and by crop. This is going to be delivered through 5 strategic components that are united by a focus on access. We have this assembling and making accessible data and knowledge as an important strategic component that goes across all the other strategic components. And all the other are looking at strategic component 2, at developing improved dryland cereal varieties and hybrids, integrated sustainable crop pest and disease management option, promoting effective seed dissemination, and promoting post-harvest value addition and market access. Now, if we talk about how I see this CRP in terms of ICRISAT work plans, I just put down a few ideas looking at what has been the discussion that has been taking place last week. That was mainly with other partners. So now we have to look more at the planning within our institution. So far, individual scientists have contributed activities to different output targets of the 6 product lines. It's quite difficult to draw a lesson out of those, out of those contributions, or at least to say, okay, this is the final product. Some product lines have been much more popular than others. And within the product line, some output targets even more than others. So I think we need to address a little bit how we are going to deal with, we have some output targets where none of our scientists decided is going to have an activity. And my assumption is that the proposal was written by this group of people, so perhaps we should sort of trying to look backwards when we wrote the proposal and say, well, if I put an output target on that specific area, perhaps I should look again and provide some activities. Now, looking at the work plans as submitted right now, there are associated to each activity, there are a long list of collaborating ICRISAT scientists. There is the main investigator and then the list of... Now, I assume that the process was done in a participatory and consultative manner, but I hope that this will be discussed and raise it during the discussion in the 2 sessions on Thursday, because I think we need to get the buy-in and the acceptance of participating in those specific activities by all those that have been listed in that work plan. The same applies for collaborating partners outside ICRISAT. I mean, we have been talking a lot about partnership, but are we, as was said this morning by DG, are we dealing with partners the same way we would like them to deal with us? So I want to be sure that whenever we have listed the partner on those activities, those partners are fully aware, are fully committed, and are going to participate and be part of the active delivery of the output targets. Definitely we need to discuss much better linkages with other CRP. Some are definitely more obvious than others. I think Cynthia just brought some example on how these can be developed and spelled out. I can think of several CRP where Dryland Cereals needs to have not only linkages, but definitely very close working relationship. And definitely we need to say, okay, what can we contribute, how can we do it, and who is going to do what. Perhaps after the discussion this morning, I could have removed this one, but definitely we need to know where are we with the gender strategy. And I would like that to be also part of the discussion on Thursday sessions. We need to see, I mean, I'm very keen in making sure that the gender strategy is not something on paper, but I would like to see, and even more important, how this is actually going to be implemented at the CRP level. So it's not, and gender strategy doesn't mean only having gender disaggregated data. It means a little bit more. And I'm aware that a lot of work is already going on in different regions, in different crops. So perhaps it's about time that we put all our hands together and we show as we can do as a group. And then definitely we need to put a dollar value to different activities so that we have also a commitment in terms of budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefania. I should have put you first so that you set the tone. Now, can we have, if there are questions and so on, don't forget that we had 2 days of this also. So if there are major burning issues that were not covered there or people who are not in that meeting, please. There.
Thank you. In one of your first slides, you gave a very interesting target for the CRP, which I think was a 16% increase in production, sustainable. Surely in a dryland rain-fed environment, that's well within the range of year-to-year variation, both in terms of yield and in terms of planted area. So how are we going to know whether we've achieved this or not?
Well, this will be part also of what I forgot to say and I wanted to say is that one problem we have been going through during the process of getting the approval of the CRP was actually the availability of data in terms of areas, consumption, and one important part of this CRP is also to make sure that we collect the correct data that will eventually help us in demonstrating what we promised we are going to deliver. Yes, I agree. I mean, I've been working for 25 years in dryland system, not tropical, completely different, but the same type of issue, the same type of problem. I think is having the right data is an important aspect.
Okay, let's thank Stefania again for keeping time.